We should be live, I believe. No, I don't want to open Moderinth. Yep, definitely live. Allow me a few moments to put the link into various social medias. Tumblr, Blue Sky, various Discord servers. And then we should be alright to start. There we go. Put it to Blue Sky. As I'm doing that, I'll pull up my chat reading device. And there we go. Live. Now it's on Blue Sky as soon as this actually posts. There we go. And to put it in the Discords. Let's see here. I need to put it in the spiral. Put it in here. And there we go, we should be good. All the pings where they need to be, all the links where they need to go. So, hello my rats and rodents, I'm Serotonin, also known as Corky, and welcome to It Gets So Lonely Here. Now, this is a visual novel with a few content warnings that I do need to disclose at the top of the stream or the top of the VOD for all my VOD watchers. This visual novel does not feature any explicit textual or graphical depictions of blood or gore. It does, however, mention these topics: drowning, being buried alive, cannibalism, bullying, veiled mentions of homophobia, which might upset some people. Viewer discretion is advised. If any of these don't sound like they are up your alley, you're free to leave. I will now take my leave. Yes, that's fair, Sky. So, if any of the content warnings bother you, then very much so, feel free to leave. I'll actually check the description for content warnings. Let me pin that. There we go. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And we'll give it just a minute or two, so that way we can allow people to trickle in. I do have a drink with me, so hopefully that should help with things such as the constant yawning and when my throat gets a little bit tired. Now, as far as I understand, this game, it's about women. It's about women who love each other a lot. As they say, a little toxic Yuri never killed anyone. So, just know that the voices aren't going to be all that great because my range isn't really all that fitted to voice multiple female characters. Especially the type that I assume we will be seeing in this game. However, I do not know a whole lot about it, so I could be proven wrong. However, it's very unlikely that I am proven wrong. But without much further ado, let's get into the video game. The visual novel. You are running through a forest. It is late at night and the sky is as black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you. Not properly. I'm gonna turn my air conditioner off. The trees which surround you, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. You do not know where you are going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire as you run, save to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, You are certain that she would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going, on and on and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. You have no idea how long you have been running. Time has begun to blend together. It has lost all meaning. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug. Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forwards with a shocked gasp. You are free, but at what cost? Your skirt has been irrevocably damaged. It might be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon she will catch you, then your life will be over. You do not know if she is still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her, silhouetted beneath a tree, looking at you with that sickly sweet smile which once ensnared you, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumple. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise when you made that contract that she would never be alone? You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it is too late for that. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. You run and run and run while icy fog swirls about your feet. It is cold enough to sap the heat from your body, and you shudder from it. It feels as though you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this, but if you value your own life, you must. You run, and you run, and you run, until at long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though. Not when you have put so much effort into running forwards. You can only press on. The 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest. Dark though it may be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick out the writing on this old dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it is. Your fate, if you will forgive me for sounding cliché, is in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Go to the shore, go to the village, or go to the castle? I'm gonna go to the shore. I don't know, that just feels right. So, you want to go to the shore? Good idea. What will you discover there, I wonder? This night is far from over, and there are any number of adventures still awaiting you. I hope that you have prepared yourself in advance, and I do hope, for your sake, that you have learned how to swim. I have a sneaking suspicion that this skill might come in handy. You follow the path which leads to the shore, supporting yourself on, weary, aching limbs which feel ready to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. You are little more than a wisp of a girl, but you have been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a means to escape your current predicament by the shore. You do not know what awaits you, but you have visions of a harbor extending out to the horizon, cradling a fleet of white-sailed fishing vessels. Surely there will be a kindly fisherman who will be willing to take you far, far away on his boat, to a place where your pursuer will not be able to find you. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly fisherman, a face you have lifted from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. He will have thick, bushy eyebrows and a dark brown beard streaked through with gray. He will look intimidating at a glance, but he will be fiercely protective of you, just like a father. You do not know what fathers are supposed to be like. You are only imagining. It is your imagination, however, which grants you the strength needed to keep going. You run to the shore. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods. But finally, you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares that lurk within it. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. It is still dark, too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the vertiginous cliffs, which plummet sharply downwards to an array of sharp, spiky rocks below. You felt, upon escaping the woods, a degree of hope, but the sight of these weather-blasted cliffs give you pause. You inhale, then you frown. Now, what are you to do? You did not think this plan of yours through very well. Not that you had much in the way of a plan in the first place. There is little in the way of civilization here. The cliffs are far from the village. How far, you do not know, and you cannot see any houses. Where exactly will you rest your weary head, and what of your weary legs? Fitfully, you look around. There is nobody to your east, nor is there anybody to your west. There is no point in looking south. That is the way you came. And when you look to the north, the world falls away from you. Okay, but how do we know which way is north, south, east, and west? Like, I don't just know that by looking at my surroundings. Do we have like a compass on us, or was there something on the sign we followed and we just like kept track of it? I don't get that. Anyways. The cliffs are too steep to scale, and it is too dark. Naturally, there is not a soul here to help you. You are on your own. You feel so overwhelmed, you could very well cry. You do not cry, however. You know that tears have never helped anyone. You got yourself into this mess, now you need to get yourself out of it. It is with this thought in mind that you inhale a lungful of salty oceanic air. Then you begin your exploration in earnest. You keep away from the edge of the cliffs, afraid that you might slip and take a sudden, unfortunate tumble into the abyss below. You're not as attached to your mortal body as some humans are, but you do not want to die. You still care for yourself, if only a little. And it is this sense of self-preservation which compels you onwards. You glance this way and that, depressing the tall grass beneath your shoes as you search for a place of shelter. Surely there must be somewhere. You cannot see any likely-looking settlements, but boy, Sarah, I won't be able to watch this stream's visual novel because of the content warnings. I did want to let you know, BB dropped. If you know who that is or care, have a good stream. I have no idea who that is, but yeah, I know this is a bit of a darker visual novel than I have streamed in the past. So yeah, totally understandable. You cannot see any likely looking settlements, but what is that? over yonder. Could that be a roof? You hurry onwards, hope budding anew in your heart, until, at long last, you reach your destination. No, I don't know who Bibinos is. I apologize. I've never heard that name before. There is a house after all, out here in the wild, though it doesn't, at a glance, look very welcoming. The solitary house that you have discovered, not so far from the cliffs, is rather unremarkable. It is so small and squat, you cannot imagine it contains within it more than one floor. You cannot even imagine that it contains much more than one room. Though it is dark, it is not dark enough to mask that the cottage has something of a slant to it. We love the constant yawning, it's so fun. Free me from this mortal coil. It is leaning listlessly to one side like a drunken sailor. The thatched roof, meanwhile, which tops this dwelling, has certainly seen better days. There is a hole in the thatch. There are several holes, in fact, and parts of it look particularly bare, almost bald. That is rather concerning. Should it rain, you will not be properly protected from the elements. Can you really stay the night in such a place? You have some misgivings, but do your misgivings matter, really, when there is nowhere else to go? It is not as though you have any other options. It is with a sense of defeat, therefore, that you approach the cottage, which sticks out of the earth like a tombstone. Part of you wants to turn back, but you know that would be foolish. The windows of the cottage are dark, but that does not necessarily mean it is empty. It is rather late at night, after all. Whoever lives here, if indeed anybody does live here, might be asleep. You cannot imagine the owners of this cottage will appreciate being aroused so very late at night. You cannot let yourself worry too much about these small details, however. Otherwise, you will never get anywhere. You swallow. The taste of the salty sea breeze is pungent in the back of your nostrils. Then you rap the knuckles of your right fist on the door. You rap quietly at first, but you do not hear any resultant shuffling inside the cottage. Perhaps you did not use enough strength. Emboldened, you rap your knuckles on the door for a second time, more loudly this time. You wait a few moments, but still you cannot hear anything. Perhaps the cottage is unoccupied after all. You knock for a third time, then wait. The third time is, as they say, the charm. But for all that, your knocking goes unanswered. Well, nobody can say that you did not try. More intrigued now than anxious, your fingers find the handle of the door. You pull it down, and to your surprise, it yields easily. The door swings back for you, as if by magic. Excuse me, keep yawning. I love bodily functions, they're so fun. It feels almost as if this was preordained. You step foot inside the cottage, which is very dark, and glance around. It is hard to see given the lateness of the hour, but the cottage's interior is about as inspiring as its exterior, which is to say, not very. It is every bit as small and as cramped as you fancied when you observed it from the outside. There are a few cupboards which line the walls, a wood fire which has since been extinguished, and a straw pallet on the floor which must function as a bed. Your search is unsuccessful, however, when it comes to trying to locate other humans. You cannot find another soul. Surely that is to your benefit, though. If nobody else lives here, then you might as well make yourself at home. Or as at home as one can be, I suppose, in a small cramped cottage such as this, with holes in the roof. You close the door behind you, and then approach the straw pallet. All of a sudden, you feel incredibly weary. The tiredness that assails your limbs is absolute, so intense it overcomes the last of your concerns. You settle down upon the straw pallet, yawning as you do. It is not comfortable, but being able to lie down eases some of your aches and pains. It doesn't help when they say yawn in the game, and I am fighting the urge to yawn because of all of the talking. Lying down, even on an uncomfortable makeshift bed such as this one, is better than standing. It is far, far better than running. Your eyelids fall shut, your lashes melting together, and soothed by the sounds of the wind and the distant rolling of the waves, you fall asleep. I accidentally clicked. Then you begin to dream. It is not uncommon, of course, to dream. The best and the worst of us do it, from queens in their castles to peasants sleeping in the straw. Why? Who is to say that all you have observed tonight is not, in a sense, been a dream of its own? Would that make your nighttime fancies, then, a dream inside a dream? Perhaps our dreams are empty, hollow things stacked inside one another, like little wooden dolls. Hold on. Is that not a whimsical thought? How very droll. Your dreams, however, cannot be called whimsical, and neither are they particularly droll. They are not pure fabrications, as dreams sometimes are, fleeting fancies which can never come to pass. Your dreams are of a rather more pernicious sort. In your dreams, you are at the conservatoire, with your red hair tied back into two prim, proper braids. You are walking through the courtyard, clutching your books to your chest as you make your way to the library. Your head is bowed, so as not to look at the faces of your passing classmates. You do not want to meet their eyes. These girls, with their sensible braids and their sensible shoes, are merciless. You hunch your shoulders together in this dream of yours so as not to draw their attention, but alas, it is not enough. You stumble, clumsy thing that you are, and you fall. And just like that, all eyes are upon you. They are staring at you. They are laughing at you. You lay there on the ground by the fountain, your book scattered in your skirt in a woeful state of disarray. Your knee hurts. Is it bleeding? You examine your injured leg, trying not to cry, and as this transpires, you hear a voice. One of your classmates is calling out to you. She has acknowledged you. You look up shyly, tears beading in your eyes, at a girl taller than you, and prettier, and much more refined. She extends her hand towards you. Does she mean to help you? It cannot hurt to try, can it? Hesitantly, you reach out to accept her offered aid. Her fingers curl around yours tightly, perhaps too tightly. Her nails dig into your skin, It hurts. Deftly, the girl pulls you to your feet. Your voice acting is so peak. Thank you! Thank you very much, Cal. I try. Your legs feel weak from your fall, and your knees still aching, still bleeding. You stumble, feeling out of sorts, but you are not afforded much of an opportunity to gather your bearings. The girl's hands are on your shoulders. She is laughing at you. Then she's pushing you. The sound of the fountain and the running water which drums against its basin is, all of a sudden, very loud. It is overwhelming. It surrounds you. Then it engulfs you. It is cold as ice. You cannot breathe. The rushing of the water continues, echoing in your eardrums over and over. And then, no, you do not want to remember this. What good will it do? It is in the past, where the past ought to remain. You are never going to go back, not even in your dreams. It is this determination which forces you back into the world of the waking, with a start. You gasp like a fish as you sit upright, your eyes unnaturally wide. You feel wearied from a lack of sleep and, with half-lidded eyes, you glance about. It is still dark inside your cottage, the sky visible from beyond the windows splashed, still with stars. How long were you asleep? You are not sure. Your dream was so very detailed. It really did feel that you had been transported into a different time, into a different place. When you inhale, you can taste rank, fetid water in your... I have never seen that word before. That's rare for me. Let's look up what that means. Fetid. Smelling extremely unpleasant. Well, that could be garnered from context clues. But that's fun. I don't see new words often. When you inhale, you can taste rank, fetid water in your mouth. Tentatively, you pat yourself down, your fingers trailing against the front of your uniform. So vivid was your dream, you half expect to find that your clothes are damp. This is not the case, however. You are, in fact, perfectly dry. Well, now what are you to do? Will you go back to sleep? That sounds like the best option available to you. You are very tired, but your senses feel too overwrought all of a sudden for sleep. You do not think you could bear it. On unsteady legs, you rise to your feet, then stand by the window. You look out to the starry sky, and to the pitted moon which hangs amongst them, and you frown. You can hear the wind outdoors, howling like an injured animal, and, more softly, the ebb and flow of the waves as they meet the cliffs. But that is not all. What is that sound? Why, it is almost like singing. The voice is far away enough that you can pick out any individual words, nor even the individual syllables, but there is a haunting quality to it all. The singer, whoever they are, possesses quite the pretty voice, high and clear, like a bell. The song is a melancholy one which stirs your heart. Curiosity takes root inside you, as it did during that fateful day you found that book in the library. Logically, you know you should not go outdoors to seek the source of that singing, but emotionally, that is another matter altogether. You really should have learned your lesson by now. You should know better than to go sticking your nose into business which does not concern you. But naughty little girls such as you never do learn. A little uncomfortable with that choice of phrasing, but okay.
You cross the old fisherman's cottage as though in a dream, then reach for the handle of the door. The handle depresses easily enough beneath your grasping fingers, and the door opens with a click. The rest of the world yawns before you, framed in the doorway, all of it bathed in moonlight. You thought it was cold inside the old cottage, but it is colder still now that the door is open.
I came for Yuri. This looks like a horror game. It's a Yuri horror game. You know. A little horror Yuri. Never hurt anybody. Also, I'm turning my air conditioner back on because it's fucking hot. By which I mean temperature-wise. I do not enjoy living in Florida.
An unpleasant wind rushes forth to meet you, knifing mercilessly through the fabric of your uniform. You look across the cold, inhospitable landscape, your fingers clenched into fists at your side.
Also, yippee yippee, you got in time? I got in times 2? Yes, I did. I did get into times 2. Very excited about that.
You look across the cold, inhospitable landscape, your fingers clenched into fists at your sides.
Hold on, am I peeking, like, at all? I don't think I am. Let me at least turn the volume down a bit, because it looks like it's a bit high. Oh, the wonderful, wonderful fear of having the audio messed up without being able to tell. It's so nice. That's the true horror in horror games, making sure the stream is okay.
Then you step out into the unknown. You canvass the cliff face, led by nothing more than that luxurious singing. So haunting and ethereal is this voice as it hangs on the breeze. It would be enough to send 1,000 ships off to war. You keep walking into the night until you reach the very edge of the cliffs, where they drop downwards into empty air. You ought not to go any further, but the voice has yet to cease. You can still hear it echoing inside your head. It compels you to act. You look down at the shore, which seems like a dizzying distance away, then out to the ocean, which is breaking against the scattered rocks below. Your eyes narrow with determination. Then you take a step towards the cliff. These cliffs are steep, and the rocks below them are sharp. You can see them glinting in the darkness, their tips jagged like the teeth of hungry predators. The cold wind blows, rocking your hair, and you shudder from it. Your shoes were not built for scaling cliffs, and your heels do not have much in the way of purchase, particularly not when the cliffs are so steep.
Yeah, stumbled over my words there.
Clinging to the cliffs is no small feat, yet you are determined to ease yourself down onto the shore, in one piece, preferably. The wind is so powerful, it feels as though there is something deliberately malicious to it. You wonder, during your descent, if it means to knock you off your perch on purpose, to cast you down to the rocks below. Well, if that is what it wants, then you refuse to give it the satisfaction.
Hello, just a carrot. Welcome to the stream. Be sure to read the content warnings. I don't want anybody to get uncomfortable when we're playing the horror Yuri game.
You can be awfully stubborn at times, and now is one of them. You continue to climb. How long have you been at it now? Until, at long last, your feet meet the shoreline below. You have made it, and you did not sustain too many injuries. Your palms are throbbing, yes, after gripping those rocks.
Daedalus was very fun today. Are you going to be there next session? Maybe. I don't know, okay? I'm still in editing hell with my 3rd episode.
Your palms are throbbing, yes, after gripping those rocks, and you might have a few cuts, but your wounds are of a shallow and superficial sort.
Your first session today? Sorry I missed your introduction, but I might be there next session. Who knows? Again, production hell. It's not going easy for me. DJ pulled a suspicious lever in the maze. Yeah, they talked about that in the Discord. That's gonna be fun to walk in on. Fun session to have missed. I wish they told me that was the plan for today. Then I would have actually came and recorded.
Things could have been worse. You flex your fingers. They feel uncomfortably numb and cold alongside it. Your skin is prickling, but at least you can still feel discomfort. At least it is still attached to your bones, or where it ought to be. Your vital organs concealed within the hollow cavity of your body. You have a lot to be thankful for. This night has, by and large, been quite successful. There are no longer any obstacles between you and the mysterious voice which lulled you outdoors. Now you must find them. You set off down the shore, on the hunt of the singing voice which has captivated you so. You sidestep sharp, jagged rocks which jut out of the sand like teeth. The rocks which cannot be circumnavigated, meanwhile, you clamber over. All the while, the sound of the sea mingles with that of the singing. It provides an ethereal, haunting backdrop to your exploration, one which further adds to the surreality of your moonlight stroll. The waves lap against the shore, then recede shyly, pushed and pulled by the bleached white moon which hangs overhead. The oceans that you have seen in your library books were all blue as sapphires, but this ocean is different. It is so late at night it looks black instead. The undulating surface of the water reminds you of a mirror, though its depths are even deeper and much more mysterious. A sense of foreboding settles upon you, but you try to quash it. You will not let yourself be afraid.
Oh my god, it's a siren! Who could have guessed? Or a mermaid. I don't fucking know the difference. I'm pretty sure they're the same thing.
You round a corner, your feet unsteady in their sensible brown shoes, and then, at long last, you see her. There is a woman sitting upon a rock out in the ocean. The woman's eyes are closed and her lips are parted, her expression soulful.
Sirens are evil mermaids? Okay, so I am right. I am correct in that assumption that there's not much of a difference besides, like, alignment and purpose for existing.
She is singing. Her hair, which is fair, flutters around her face like a shroud, which adds to her otherworldly aura. Her eyes might be closed, but her lashes are long and luxuriant like a doll's. Her lips, meanwhile, which are parted in song, are soft, like the freshly plucked petals of a flower. Her face is perfect, as are her proportions.
I don't know, she looks like she could use some food. Like, girl, eat. Eat. You do not have to be skin and bones. Have a meal, man.
Her neck is tall and slender, like the stem of a flower. As for the lower half of her body, meanwhile, it's a fish. Well, it is nothing like anything you have ever seen before.
I can tell you what it's like that I've seen before. It's like a fish. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them before, but there is a thing called a fish that the legs, the tail, looks suspiciously similar to. I'm not sure if I'm the only person here who's ever seen a sea creature, but that seems just a little bit odd. So is the character from somewhere where they don't know what a fish is? That seems rather hard to believe. Anyways.
It is here, and here alone, that the woman betrays your narrow human definitions of beauty, for her legs are non-existent. Rather than two awkward appendages, this woman has, instead, the sleek, shimmering tail of a fish.
So we do know what a fish is. See?
Rather than two awkward...
Okay, that's twice. You did that. You've said that twice.
Is she not, then, a human? She cannot be, not with a tail like that. This unusual sight makes you gasp, and quite audibly at that.
I'm turning off my air conditioner again, because I love being nervous about whether or not my voice is audible.
You do not mean to be rude, but you cannot help yourself. Humans tend to react poorly to things they do not understand. At least you do not scream. That would be even ruder.
Oh my.
You meant to observe the mermaid from a distance, but it would appear that your shocked gasp was loud enough to attract her attention. The fish-tailed vision sitting upon the rock is looking at you. Her gaze is so piercing, it feels almost as if she is looking through you. Your heart seems to stop inside your chest, as if by some manner of magical spell. You thought the mermaid pretty when first you observed her, sitting on that outcrop of rock, her face turned in profile. Now she is looking at you, however, you can see that you were mistaken. She is not just pretty, she is beautiful. So much so it is almost unnerving. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world.
Ambrosia Winaya, am I right or am I right?
Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. A tail might be an impossible thing, but its scales look slick and wet regardless, like those of any fishes one might find at the market.
Gay-ass fish. Gay-ass fish!
These scales are iridescent and, bathed beneath the light of the moon, they seem almost to glow. The sight of her rather takes your breath away. You look at the mermaid. She looks back at you. You prepare yourself, expecting some sort of altercation.
Gay-ass fish is crazy. Gay-ass fish is not crazy.
But the surprise soon fades from the mermaid's face. Her lips, which once were pursed in a frown, now shift upwards. She is smiling. Then she says, in a refined sort of voice,
My, it really is good to see a human again, particularly a human girl. I was beginning to fear that your kind had all disappeared, and I would no longer have anybody left to tell me of the world above the waters.
My, this is quite the effusive greeting. The mermaid's introductory speech is positively brimming with excitement of a sweet, girlish variety. She is rather more amicable than the fine polish of her syllables would make one suggest. You might be a well-bred lady yourself with an accent to match, but you cannot help but feel overwhelmed. Anxiously you observe the mermaid, and you ask her what she means. What happened?
As to that, I am afraid I cannot say. I've been sitting on these rocks and singing for many, many nights, but nobody has come to see me. There have been no lovely humans for me to play with. I was beginning to wonder whether your kind had disappeared altogether. I feared some manner of calamity had occurred while I was slumbering beneath the water's surface, and your kind had been eradicated.
You shudder, then reassure the mermaid to the contrary. You do not know about the humans that she used to speak with, but you, at least, have not been eradicated. You are still here.
Yes, well, I can see that,
the mermaid answers with a light laugh.
It really is a relief. My fellow mer people who live beneath the water told me not to worry so, but I could not help myself. I have always been fond of you humans. It was rather sobering sitting here night after night, all on my own. It gets so lonely here. Oh, they said the name. Oh, roll credits. They said the name of the game. Oh my god, peak fiction. Anyways.
Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before?
Yeah, when I was opening the game. So, dear human, did you say that you are unfamiliar with these parts?
Hesitantly, you examine the mermaid. Thoughtless though you might be, at times you are not so very self-centered that you cannot detect the note of longing in the mermaid's voice.
What does VN stand for? Visual novel. Type of game we're playing. Visual novel.
It is evident as she looks at you that she is hoping for a particular answer to her query. This answer, alas, is not one that you can furnish her with. You do not want to lie to her. It is after some hesitation, therefore, that you reaffirm your earlier words, though this time you embellish them. You tell the mermaid that you are a traveler from a far-off land, one which is very dissimilar to this one. It is not a complete fabrication. You tell her that you have only just arrived by this shore, and you are unfamiliar both with your immediate surroundings and those further afield. If there is a village nearby, then you have never set foot in it. You do not know what this village is like, nor how many inhabitants it boasts. You do not know if a calamity, as the mermaid grimly supposed, has struck this land. But if she fears all the humans within the immediate vicinity have been laid low by some mysterious malady, then she needn't worry overly on that score. You are still alive. Are you not, you wonder, enough to satiate her curiosity with the human realm?
Excuse me. Yes, that is true. You are here. I am grateful, naturally, for your company, although...
Wistfully, the mermaid sighs.
I was rather hoping you might be able to bring me some news of the nearby village, and of its inhabitants.
This makes you wonder. Was there a particular person from this village she was close to?
Your voice is so calming. Thank you! So, you were able to work that much out?
The mermaid answers with a small smile.
You're an intelligent one, aren't you?
Your past professors would beg to differ on that score. You were always awful when it came to academics, mathematics in particular. You could never get your head around all of the numbers. Your stern, stony-faced maths professor used to despair in you. But she is not here. None of them are here. It is just you now and the mermaid, and she does not need to know about your dismal academic record. You allow yourself a small smile, touched by her compliment, and tell her that it was nothing more than a lucky guess.
For a guess, it was remarkably accurate. You are quite right. I did have a close friend from the nearby village. She was very dear to me.
Internally, you congratulate yourself on this piece of detective work. How very clever you are.
There are many humans in this world, of that I know. The human who spoke with me, however, was special. She was my human.
You do not fail to catch the possessive note in the mermaid's voice.
And I cherished her dearly. She would come to me on my rock late at night, when she was finished with her chores, and we would talk. I asked her a good number of questions about the human realm, and about her customs. Gay-ass fish. Gay-ass fish! We love gay-ass fish. I fear my endless inquiries must have been rather tedious, but she was always happy to indulge me. She never once scorned me for my ignorance, and neither did she make me feel like a fool. She always made time for me, no matter how many demands she had on her time. She was a farmer's daughter, and she was awfully busy from dawn till dusk, threshing hay and taking the animals out to pasture. She told me of her work, and I marveled at her. Slender though she was, she possessed a truly tremendous amount of strength. I, who have lived in the ocean all of my life, cannot countenance working as hard as she did, but she bore her burdens without complaining. She was not the prettiest human who has walked the earth, but that mattered not to me. Her conversations were engaging, and I knew through our continued encounters that she meant no ill will. She did not have even a single drop of malice in her heart.
The wistful manner in which the mermaid speaks of her friend makes you feel, for a few brief moments, a flicker of some ugly, primordial emotion. Could it be jealousy? It is painful, isn't it, to hear others wax poetic about those they hold dear, particularly when you yourself have never been regarded in so intimate a manner. You have, for many, many years, been woefully alone. But you are not alone now. You are with the mermaid, and she is with you. And though she might prefer to be in the company of an industrious farmhand, the farmhand is not here. Where did she go?
Oh, if only I knew. She quite simply disappeared one day, almost as if she had been whisked away by a wicked spirit. That seems like quite the anticlimactic ending for such a close relationship. Did the farmhand not tell her companion beforehand that she might, one day, disappear? Oh shit, that was not the right voice. Fuck. It's fine, we can go back. Oh, those are both not the correct voice. Bleh.
That seems like quite the anticlimactic ending for such a close relationship. Did the farmhand not tell her companion...
I keep accidentally clicking. I'm gonna kill myself.
Did the farmhand not tell her companion beforehand that she might one day disappear?
No, she did not. Nothing of the sort happened. It was all very sudden. If fish are gay, does that make me a carrot? Who knows? I certainly don't.
So, you ask, feeling affronted upon the mermaid's behalf, did she not give you any warning?
Not a single one.
And when, you ask, did she disappear?
I do not know, in truth. Time is a strange concept to beings such as myself, particularly as it seems to ebb and flow differently both above and below the surface. You humans have a strange compulsion to pin down and to place labels upon everything. You have names for your seasons, and for your months, and even for your days of the week. It is all very precise. We merfolk, however, do not bother with such affairs, perhaps because we live for so much longer than you humans do. We have no need to obsessively document our days. Not when we have so many of them at our disposal.
This curious remark catches your attention. How long exactly do mermaids live for? The mermaid does not look much older than you do, but you cannot help but wonder.
My. Nosy, aren't we?
The mermaid asks, and she laughs, a soft tinkling sound like that of a bell, which makes you blush. Were you being nosy? Perhaps you were. You have always had a thirst for knowledge, not of the dry, dusty, academic variety, but of stories peopled with strange persons. Literature was the only subject you were ever any good at.
Again, it is hard for me to quantify, but to put it in terms a human like you can understand, I suppose we mermaids can live for centuries.
Centuries? That is quite the surprise. But perhaps it shouldn't be. You have been subjected to any number of surprises tonight. What is one more to add to the pile?
I have not been waiting quite that long, however, for my friend to return to me. I think it has been but a few seasons. It might not sound like much, but never before have I been so aware of the passage of time. I have experienced any number of wants during my life, but I have never wanted anything quite as badly as I want to see her. I wish she would sit with me, and she would talk to me just one more time. But perhaps I am asking for an impossibility. I have been waiting for long enough now to presume that she will not be returning to me. I fear that something must have happened to her, or to her family, or perhaps to her whole village.
You can hear the worry throbbing in the mermaid's voice, so potent that for a few moments you swear you can feel the depths of her sorrow within your own breast. Her sadness over this human girl is a deep, dark thing, almost fathomless. You cannot let yourself indulge it for too long, otherwise you fear you might drown in it. Ruefully, you tell the mermaid once more that you cannot help her. You are only a traveler, after all. What do you know of a single insignificant farmhand in a nearby village? Didn't mean to do that.
Yes, I thought you might say that. It is quite unfortunate, but, well, I ought not to reflect upon all that I am missing. That would be churlish of me, and it would not be fair to you either. You did not approach me, I am sure, with the hope of hearing about all of my woes. I should be grateful instead for all it is that I do have. I still have my long, long life, which stretches before me like a golden cord. And, of course, I have you now.
Does she?
Do I not? I ought to go soon, before my absence is noticed. But will you not come and visit me again tomorrow night? I think I would like that. I have always enjoyed speaking to humans. You make me feel less alone.
You cannot help but feel, as the mermaid observes you with those enchanting eyes of hers, that she does not truly wish to speak to you for your sake. She wants to use you instead, as a substitute for the farmhand that she has been missing so very ardently. The thought stings, though you really ought to be used to it. Still, to be held in lower esteem than a farmhand, of all things, it makes your self-esteem sting. You try not to let the mermaid notice this, though. The woes of your past are not her fault, much as the woes of her past are not yours. It is silly, in any case, to be jealous of a girl who might very well be dead. That is what you tell yourself. It is the only way to prop up your bruised sense of self-worth. You would, you tell the mermaid, after a pause, like to see her again. You would like that very much.
Oh, thank you. I have been feeling very gloomy for quite some time, but seeing you has invigorated me. Finally, it feels as though I can smile again.
Did she not smile, you wonder, after her friend disappeared?
I did not, no. I did not have the heart. Without her, the world seemed very dull and drab. Your company has cheered me immensely. This is why I like humans so much. You are not callous and unfeeling like the merfolk who live beneath the water's surface. You are much kinder than they are.
I'm not sure I'd agree with that. Oh, if only she knew. Read my mind. If the mermaid was aware, I wonder, of how petty you are, and how jealous, would she still care for you? Well, that is neither here nor there. You agree to meet with the mermaid come sundown the following night. Then make your slow, stumbling way back up the cliffs. Then to the cottage you have purloined as your own. Once indoors, you settle down upon your pallet, and then you close your eyes. The sighing of the wind outside and the distant roiling of the waves against the rocks do not disturb you. You feel, after your midnight encounter of a marish kind, quite at ease, perhaps prematurely so. What happened to the icy fear which prompted your frantic flight through the forest? Where has all that gone? Do you not think you are being a bit complacent? No. Oh well. You will. The following morning, when it arrives, is cloudy and overcast. It is not a particularly pleasant morning, but at least it is not raining. That is some small consolation. You rise from your straw pallet, stretching, then glance about the interior of the fisherman's cottage. It looked dilapidated last night, when much of it was obscured by the shadows, but it looks even more so when subjected to the morning's light. The cottage's interior has the distinct, disquieting appearance of having been abandoned in a hurry. There is broken pottery strewn upon the ground, and the singular wooden chair, which one must have stood by the singular wooden table, is lying on the floor. The doors of the cupboards, meanwhile, are ajar, the shelves within depressingly bare. A quick search reveals a handful of edibles, that there is precious little to be getting on with. If you wish to live here comfortably, you will have to look into foraging. You ate very little last night, and your stomach is empty. It was the malcontented rumblings of your stomach, in actual fact, which roused you from your slumber. Yeg. But your body seems to be very far away indeed, much like the grey clouds which choke the sky. You are not thinking of your own physical discomforts. You are dwelling instead upon the events of the night prior. You cannot help but think of the mermaid. Did you truly meet an aquatic maiden last night, during your nightly stroll, when you could not sleep? It sounds unreal, especially now that the sun has risen and the shadows from the night prior have dispersed. You cannot quite believe it. It must have been a dream. But why, then, can you recall it so very clearly? You help yourself to the scant food and drink available to you, all the while thinking of your next course of action. Now what are you to do? You plan, of course, to return to the shore come nightfall, so that you might once again see the mermaid. But the night will not arrive for quite some time. You need to find some means of keeping yourself occupied until then. The uninspiring interior of the cottage does not furnish you with any particular ideas, so you decide to go for a walk. Your soles still ache after your exertions last night, but if you go slowly, you ought to be all right. That is what you hope, at least. You do not want to spend much longer than you have to in the fisherman's cottage, no matter how cold it might be outdoors. It's almost as cold inside as it is out, and in any case, the cottage is far too small. You leave the cottage behind and set off. You do not know where exactly you are going, but you suppose it does not matter overly much.
Hold on, hold on. Okay, yeah, hold on. I have gotten a Discord message. Hold on, I have to respond to this. Okay, we should be fine. Yep. Sorry. I am so sorry about that. I should probably keep my phone on me, so that way if I do get another notification I can respond. Because it is of rather decently sized importance.
You do not have any particular destination in mind. Your meanderings lead you to the cliffs, which are steep and sharp.
I am turning on my air conditioner again. I am so sorry if it kills the audio quality. I am simply burning alive!
The drop to the shore is a perilous one, so much so that you have to wonder at how you were able to descend the cliffs the night prior to meet the mermaid. You were rather more determined than you ever realized. Though I, of course, could have told you that much. You are surprisingly capricious for such a small, slender human. You walk along the side of the cliffs, keeping a sensible distance away from the drop to the shore. You might have survived last night's excitement unscathed, but you do not fancy trying your luck. It would be so like you, really, to avoid a drop to your death in the darkness, only to stumble during the morning's light and take an irreversible tumble. Your fortunes have never been the fairest. Your meanderings along the cliff reveal to you all manner of curious flora. You thought the night prior that the cliffs were weather-blasted, but you can see now that your assumptions were incorrect. There are flowers here, very warm and bright, like the sun's light during the summertime. Or, you think, with a flush of pleasure, the fair hair of the mermaid whom you are certain you spoke to last night. These flowers are so very like her hair it is uncanny. You step towards the flowers, drawn towards them, and sink down to your knee. The tall grass brushes your ankles like a caress, the morning's dew wetting your skirt. Your clothes getting damp as are your legs, but you care not for this minor discomfort.
I would care. I am way too autistic for that. Are you kidding me? Why do I keep hearing the audio cut out? Is there, like, microphone issues? Because that sometimes happens when I'm having microphone issues. Opened OBS. It doesn't look like there are any microphone issues.
You have just had an idea. Why not make a gift for your new friend? You are sure that she would appreciate it. Why would she not? She told you, in a voice which was steeped with dolor, that she had been feeling lonely. You want to see her again. and when you next see her, you would like to make her smile. It is with this thought in mind that you begin to pick the flowers which are growing upon the cliffside. These flowers do not have any thorns, and their delicate stems snap easily enough betwixt your fingers. You take care when plucking these flowers to leave a substantial amount of stem intact. You will need these stems so that you might twine the flowers together. You mean to make for your mermaid a diadem, something she will be able to wear in her hair. This tiara is certain to suit her. She is so pretty anything would suit her. You continue to work, slow and steadfast, as the weak sun shines. It takes time, but you are eventually able to fashion something you are satisfied with. You only hope the mermaid will feel similarly, if indeed she really does exist.
Gay-ass protagonist? Yeah.
Carefully, you pocket your makeshift diadem, then decide to forage for some food. You discover, during your search, some fruit trees whose sweet burdens are enough to fortify your spirits. For the present, at least. It is fortunate, really, that you are so excited about your moonlight rendezvous with the mermaid. If you were less focused upon the future and dwelt more in the immediate present, you might have more of an appetite. The emptiness in your stomach assuaged, you return to the cottage, whereat you mean to wait for the setting of the sun. There is very little to do, you soon discover, in the cottage other than checking the cupboards and sweeping the floor, occupations which both feel depressingly pointless. There are no books to read either, with which you might pass your idle hours. You do, however, busy yourself with trying to light a fire, so that you might ward off the cold. The time is horribly slow in passing, in part because you have precious little to do, but also because you cannot stop thinking of the mermaid. Will she really return to the shore as she said she would? Can you truly trust her? Oh, you hope that you can. If she were not present at your designated meeting place, you think you would die from disappointment. The seconds continue to trickle by, unchecked by any hourglass, and as they do, the sun sinks beneath the horizon. Part of you worries, however, that it might still be too early to search for the mermaid. Will she be there yet? You sit there, your stomach tied up in anxious knots.
Excuse me.
And as you listen to the wind which buffets your windows, you hear it. The sound is faint, but you recall it well from the night before. There is a single solitary voice outdoors, tempest tossed amidst the rolling waves.
Okay, I heard back. Give me just a minute. Just one more little second, and we will be all right to continue. I am simply managing a thing. And then I must send a message to a certain person. I promise we will get right back into the video game in just a moment. Alrighty.
There is a single solitary voice outdoors, tempest-tossed amidst the roiling waves. The voice is a high, clear one, silvery, if indeed voices can have colors, like a finely polished dinner plate in a noblewoman's home. The voice belongs, of course, to the mermaid. Who else do you know with a voice as angelic as that? Relief begins to bubble up inside you, a relief so potent you feel dizzy from it. She did not abandon you after all. Why, you wonder, did you ever think she would? She said that she wanted to see you. Did you think that a mere nicety? Buoyed, as if by a gentle breeze, you hurry to the door. With trembling fingers, they are trembling, I presume, from excitement rather than fear, you seize the handle, then turn it. Then you step out into the dark, inky night. You walk towards the cliffs as you did the night prior, beneath the cover of the inky blue sky, the wind moaning fitfully with every step you take. Your souls still ache from your expedition the day prior, but you are able to ignore this discomfort. It seems irrelevant, really, when compared to the prospect of once again meeting the mermaid. You have known her for only one night, yet she has come to mean more to you than your own well-being. This is an interesting time to drop into stream with no clue what's going on. Fair enough. You would do anything for the mermaid if she asked it.
Cool off. You've known her for a night. You had one conversation.
Well, almost anything. You hurry down the sharp incline of the cliffs to the shore, almost stumbling in your scuffed brown shoes, which really were not built with rock climbing in mind. So frantic are you in your attempts to once again make the mermaid's acquaintance, you very nearly fall. It is a good thing that you still have enough sense about you to regain your footing.
This protag is ready to U-haul it already, I know it. Exactly.
Otherwise, this tale would come to a premature end. Eventually, you make your way onto the shore, then approach the jagged outcrop of rock whereat you last saw the mermaid. Like the night prior, the mermaid is perched upon the rocks, her fair hair strewn about her shoulders. When she sees you from across the shore, she ceases her singing, and her eyes light up. Or at least, they seem to.
So, you have returned to me, my hero,
the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles.
Or perhaps I should say heroine.
Like the drug? Okay. Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody has ever called you a heroine before. You do not even think of yourself as a heroine. If a story were made about you, you rather think that you would be a supporting character, one without her own voice.
To be fair, that is kind of what's happening here. It's the narrator and everybody else talking. She has not said a single line.
You are not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think that you are, though. She is staring at you delightedly, as though you were the one person in the world she most wishes to speak to. The thought makes you tremble, but not as much as the mermaid's gaze. You tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh.
I think you are. I saw the way you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic.
Oh, so she saw that, did she? Then, did she see how you slipped down the cliffs, grazing up homes in the process, and how you very nearly fell? You have never been the most graceful of girls, but to have your failings exposed before being as poised and as perfect as the mermaid,
Lesbians love rock climbing. I have heard that, yes.
It stings a little bit, more in fact, than the resultant grazes on your palms your clumsiness wrought you. You tell the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that is all, to see her again. You weren't thinking.
Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again.
She was.
Naturally. I had a very good time speaking to you last night. I had hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That is why I came to the rocks a bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you. Did you hear my song?
Yes, you reply, with a nod of your head. You heard it, all the way in the abandoned cottage. It called out to you.
That was the general idea. I was singing for you.
She was. You do not think that you are worthy of the mermaid's song. But if she does not mind dedicating her voice to you, then...
Well, who else would I dedicate my voice to? There is nobody else to hear me.
That is a good point, you suppose. Shyly, you look back at the mermaid. You thank her for her song. It was very beautiful. Then tell her, before you can lose your nerve, that you have prepared a present for her too.
Oh, have you really?
You have. It is a small thing, nothing more than a silly trinket. But if it would not be too much of an imposition, then, with clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket.
Oh god, a little lesbians with no self-esteem meet someone who gives them basic attention. This is about to be horrific. Yeah, that's kinda how it goes. I keep getting, like, little audio bits. Like, the audio keeps cutting out for me, like the game audio, and it makes me scared that my microphone disconnected. Because that's what happens when the microphone disconnects.
With clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. For a few moments, you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. The chain is surprisingly sturdy, given it was made with only a few flowers, and it is held firm against the odds. You handle the chain with great care all the same. However, as you hold it out, presenting it for the mermaid's approbation, it was for the mermaid that you fashioned this chain. You thought that it would look nice nestled in her hair. You were pleased with the chain when first you made it, but after looking at the mermaid, you have begun to reconsider.
This is about to be a canon event for this protag.
Ugh. Ugh. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. Your flower crown, by comparison, seems a very meager offering indeed. The longer you hold your gift out, the more unworthy it feels. You have half a mind, as the seconds elapse, to snatch your silly, wholly unworthy gift back from the mermaid before she can judge you too harshly. But the mermaid's lips curve upwards into a smile, and, in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says,
"Oh my, did you make this for me?"
"Well, yes," you reply, still feeling a little flustered. "You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her. Not, you hasten to add, that you think her beauty is comparable to these flowers. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. You simply thought. You are unable to get the rest of this sentence out, however, because the mermaid interrupts you, not rudely, but with something resembling compassion. Perhaps she pities you. She must be able to hear how your voice is trembling. Can she also see the way your hands tremor? Oh dear. Faint heart never won the hand of a fair maiden, you know. What happened to all of your confidence?"
"I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not at all expect it, but it really is pretty."
You look at your feet, too shy to meet the mermaid's gaze. Then you say very quietly that you are glad that she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego.
Take a little sip. A little sip of the water when the throat wants to die.
You have precious little of it left as it is. The mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious, because she smiles.
I am not simply saying things to spare your ego. I am not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easily as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Is that not the point of speech? To have an honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited.
Oh, you blush at this? More deeply still, and survey the mermaid beneath the full fringe of your eyelashes. Then she really does like it.
Did I not just say that? You humans are so very funny. What with all of your second guessing? She was like that too, in the beginning.
She?
Honestly, I can't blame the protag. Fair. My friend.
The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes your stomach clench regardless. Ah yes, her friend. How could you have forgotten about her?
She used to make me gifts too, you know. Gifts like this one. She would pick flowers on the cliffs over there where I cannot tread.
The mermaid gestures with one hand to the cliffs, which tower above the shore, tall and imposing, as though to stab the sky above.
And she would fashion them into crowns like this one, and bracelets. I was appreciative of her tokens, though she was similarly shy when first she presented them to me. The mermaid reminds me of my ex-girlfriend. That'd be the only thing stopping me, for real, for real. Okay, bit of a wild thing to say, but yeah, sure. She did not seem to think very much of her handiwork. You and her are remarkably similar, really.
There is no guile in the mermaid's voice, but her words have rather taken the wind out of your sails. Of course the cowherd gave the mermaid gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. She is so very beautiful. Like a tutelary. I have not. Another word I haven't seen before? This is a peak game. Peak game making me look up words, honestly. That's not even a joke. I love learning new words. I love expanding my vocabulary. Tutelary. Serving as a protector, guardian, or patron. Alright, awesome. She is so very beautiful. Like a tutelary goddess. She seems to invite tribute simply by existing. Were you more religious, or more irreligious, maybe? You might even consider worshipping her.
I think it likes learning new words. That could just be me, though. I love learning new words! I fucking love it! I cannot get enough of new words. I would read the dictionary for a stream.
Though, in essence, is that not what you were doing with your flower crown? How silly of you to think that your idea was an original one.
I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human has bequeathed me anything. This is a pleasant surprise. I am truly thankful for your kindness, dear one.
The mermaid leans forwards on her rock, so as to pluck the circlet from your fingers. Her benevolent smile, all the while, is unwavering.
And now that I look at your gift more closely, I rather think it is of a superior quality to the gifts my old friend once gave me.
Now this is enough to make you start, if the touch of the mermaid's fingers upon your own was not. Could your silly gift really be better than those she once accepted?
I think so. My friend's trinkets were all rather clumsy in execution, though I cherished them nonetheless. They were precious to me. They did not last for very long, though. Not when I took them with me to my home beneath the ocean. The waters soon rend the fragile links between the flower stems asunder. Your diadem, however, seems more sturdy, but it is, by the same token, very delicate. You must be very good with your hands.
You think back briefly on your disastrous sewing lessons in the past, with your numerous failed attempts to thread your needle, while the other girls giggled at you, and you blush. You think the mermaid's praise might be a touch too effusive. You tell the mermaid as much, but she only laughs.
I do not think so. Now.
The mermaid places your floral trinket upon her head, over her long fair hair, then surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish.
It's there, it's right there. It's there, it's the flower crown. It's the floral trinket. Anyways, what do you think?
You think that the mermaid looks radiant, though that is less because of your gift and more because of her natural looks. You tell the mermaid this, though not in terms quite this glowing, and she giggles.
You're selling yourself too short. I think your gift is lovely, really. The flowers rather match my hair.
Yes, you answer with a nod of your head. That is why you picked those flowers. She is all you have been able to think of.
I am glad that you have been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much.
No?
No, it would be embarrassing to confess to how much I have been looking forward to our reunion if you did not feel similarly.
Gay-ass protag? Very gay-ass protag, indeed.
I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone.
You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious. That you do care for her. Very much so. You have not known her for very long, but she has certainly made an impression upon you. She is such an easy conversationalist. The time simply slips by when you are together. And it does not hurt, of course, that she is so pretty.
I have heard it said, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me, when my form is so very graceful.
Protag would be fruity regardless of the writing because we got Sarah playing the game. Yeah, that's fair.
Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. It must be so very depressing to lumber about on land as you do, living your days beneath the harsh sun and the cool, unfeeling moon. Sometimes I rather think I pity you. But the surface is a good deal brighter than it is beneath the ocean. I will grant you that much.
You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, that there are some perks to having legs, an agreement which makes the mermaid giggle.
I am certain that there are, though you cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you have never tried it?
You shake your head. No. You had never thought to do so, largely because you've never been so close to the sea before, not in all of your life.
Excuse me, yawned.
You did not have much opportunity for nautical exploration in the past. You were not allowed to go anywhere then, save to the local church. It was quite a lonely existence.
Well now, that is a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow where I cannot reach them. So perhaps I ought to return the favor.
The favor?
Yes, that is right. It would seem only fitting that I give to you something which can only be found in the ocean's depths. Perhaps we could look at it as a form of cultural exchange.
Oh, no, you protest, your eyes wide. You couldn't possibly put such a burden upon her. You did not give her a gift, after all.
because you wanted to receive anything in return. Anything other than her friendship, that is. You want so much more than her friendship, be for fucking real. Her conversation is more than enough to satisfy you. You do not need any physical presence on top of that. I beg to differ. I refuse to trust anything she says purely because of the trigger warnings. Yeah. The mermaid does not seem convinced. However, by your naysaying, she raises one eyebrow. Even this gesture is performed elegantly, then says, "Why am I yawning so much? I was not yawning this much just like 10 minutes earlier." "If my company is all it takes to satisfy you, then you are easy to please indeed. But please do not rebuff me. I am offering because I wish to do this. Remember what I said. I do not say things for the sake of it."
Well, you murmur, if she really doesn't mind.
"Of course I do not mind. Now wait there. I will not be very long. It would be rude to abandon my new friend in the midst of a conversation."
The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear, mirror-like water, which shimmers beneath the moonlight.
It all makes sense now. Fatherless behavior. Okay. I don't understand, but okay.
The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear, mirror-like water, which shimmers beneath the moonlight. Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long, slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. The mermaid's face is first submerged, then her torso, and at long last, her tail. The water rushes forth to envelop her, as though it has been waiting for her. It subsumes her. It swallows her. Then she disappears from view. The mermaid is gone, but you are still there. Well, now what are you to do?
There is nothing that can be done.
There is nothing that can be done, you suppose, save waiting. You stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. The breeze howls mournfully, like a wounded animal as it buffets your hair about your face, and your torn skirt around your legs. Time elapses, but how much of it? While you stand there, fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You are starting to worry. Is that all you do? When? Look, over there, by the rocks upon which the mermaid once sat. The water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks, using a surprising amount of upper body strength, then smiles at you.
All lesbians do is worry. Now, I'm not one to make assumptions. Partly because of the fact that I am not a lesbian myself, so I am not going to say that I confirm nor deny the statement. However, yeah, seems legit. "I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry."
You were worrying, but you are not half so honest as the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken of as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their deaths, but they are, in actuality, very sincere.
I hate to tell you, but I think you're confusing sirens with mermaids. They're very different things.
They are much more sincere than most humans. Perhaps that is why your kind fears them so. There are few creatures who inhabit this world whose capacity for lying is greater than your own. You tell the mermaid that you are not worrying, and she answers with her eye smile.
I am not so sure about that.
Ah, the mermaid is wilier than you are giving her credit for. She has seen straight through you.
Was that a knock? I'm gonna assume that wasn't a knock. God forbid there's mermaids in siren-dominated fields. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Mermaids can do a siren's job just as well as a siren can. And I'm sure it goes the same for sirens. I don't think she can see straight through you. I don't think anybody in this fucking game can see straight through anything. But no matter. It took me some time, but I was finally able to retrieve for you a gift. I do not have the means to turn this into a pretty piece of jewelry, as you did with the flowers, but I wish to give it to you nonetheless. I do hope that you like it. I don't think she can do anything straight, to be fair. Yeah.
The mermaid leans forwards, then holds a gift out toward you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it, like the petals of a flower being folded back. And... oh, what a pretty gift it is. The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She has fished from the depths of the water a beautiful shell, one which shimmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, much like the scales on her tail.
Why the picture so blurry? I think that's just the game's visual style. That's been the same for most of the pictures here.
The shell is so very pretty. It quite takes your breath away. You look at the shell worriedly, your teeth biting your lower lip. That is about habit, you know. You will make yourself bleed. Then ask the mermaid if this is really alright.
Not to be a bitch to the mermaid, but shells pull up on the beach all the time. She could have tried harder. Protag deserves better. I mean, if she wants to sell seashells on the seashore, who are we to deny her? I mean, come on.
Would a gift like this not be wasted on you?
Of course not. I want you to have this shell because it makes me think of you.
It does. How so?
I thought it should be obvious. The shell is a lovely find. As are you.
Oh. Did she just call you lovely? Surely you must have misheard her. You can scarcely believe it. It is an awful lot for you to take in, but...
Gay, 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 fair. Now, why are you gawping up? Why are you gawping at me? Gawping? Gawp? I've only heard gawk. Gawp? Gawping. Let's look this up. Gawp. Stare openly in a stupid or rude manner. Okay. Oh, informal it's an informal British thing. So I have been right to be doing vaguely British accents. Alright. No, it's because she knows you're a shell of a person and easy to manipulate for real. That is vile. Now, why are you gawping at me like that? The wind will change, you know, and then your face will be stuck like that, which would be quite the shame. British people? What do you have against British people? I've got some great friends who happen to be British people. You would waste your good looks, which, for a maiden such as yourself, would be nothing short of a tragedy. Add British people to the content warnings! No. No, the content warnings are serious. It's not for jokes like that. I take my content warnings very seriously.
It seems as though the mermaid really does think you are pretty after all. The mermaid, with her smooth skin and her fair hair.
Yeah, no, I would have fallen. British people are serious. Hello. Hi, Vera. Welcome to the stream.
You can scarcely believe it. There is something almost laughable about the mermaid's compliments. How could she call you pretty when her looks are so immediately, obviously superior? Tongue-tied, you look at your feet. You do not know how to reply to the mermaid. You have half a mind to refute her words, to tell her that you are not that pretty, not really. but you fear that might look rude. You do not want to rebuff the mermaid's well wishes. There is nothing for it, then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean's depths for you. You do not think that you are worthy of it, but neither do you want to refuse it.
Now, that is a surprise,
the mermaid says, amused as you reach for the shell.
I did not think you would be bold enough to take it, not without more coaxing on my part. You have exceeded my expectations. What a good girl you are.
Your heart flutters with this praise, and it flutters all the more when your trembling fingers brush against the mermaid's palm.
Again, interesting choice of words.
She presses the shell into your skin, and your own fingers tighten about it. The shell is sharp and pointed, and it digs uncomfortably into your skin. It hurts, but there is pleasure in the pain. This too feels like a gift from the mermaid. You do not want to spurn it. Even pain can be a precious thing when dealt by one whom you care for.
Okay. Okay, I think we see where the content warnings are applying. Now, it could either be talking about, like, domestic abuse or, like, BDSM or some shit like that. The protag is a masochist. Fair! Fair. That is also a possibility.
You never knew that before. You hold the shell to your heart, which is beating in a regular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then, very softly, you thank her.
It is quite all right. It seems only fair after you shared part of your world with me. Protag wants that mermaid cookie bad, bro. Mermaid cookie? What? What the fuck are you talking about? Is that an illusion I don't get? What? Huh? Me when I don't understand a reference? Me when I failed as a person because I don't understand a reference? I wish to share part of my world with you too. Humans cannot normally descend beneath the ocean's depths, and even if they do, they cannot remain there for very long. You are far too fragile. Baking my mermaid into a cookie because I miss her. Okay, that's a good one, Salem. Well done there. Would that I could. I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom, where we might be together.
The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffused with something resembling melancholia. She sighs. Then she shakes her head and smiles. But this will have to do for the present. Please, take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time, and think of me. She'd be relatively easy to shape into a cookie. No legs and all. Yeah, I can agree. But would the cookie really capture a likeness so what's the word? So divine as hers? Anywho. That would make me very happy indeed. The days pass, following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with an almost intolerable slowness. You endure the hours of sunlight as best you can by going for long, bracing walks amidst the heather, foraging for berries and fruits among the hedgerows. With a little frosting we could try. You could. One moment. Alrighty, I'm gonna be having food given to me, thankfully. I may have unmuted a little bit too fast. There may have been family voice caught in the live stream. Woo! Who cares? Brings eating your girlfriend to a whole new meaning. No! No, you can't say that.
You can't say that! No! Anyways.
You even, when you have mustered up enough courage, take an old fishing line uncovered in the fisherman's cottage and try your luck by the shore. Your initial attempts at angling are without success, but as the time passes, your proficiency in the art grows.
I mean, there's already like 4 meanings. We don't need to add more. That's fair. Some of which already covered by the content warnings.
Sometime after you take up your rod, you find you are able to catch the odd fish here and there. Small, scrawny things, mostly, but the meat goes a ways to bolstering your rudimentary diet.
Hi, I'm back. Hi, back at Serotonin Rat. I'm not LG Waffle. I wouldn't make that stupid dad joke. I wouldn't. Do you really think so low of me? You think I would go for such a low-hanging fruit as that? Actually, no. That's completely fair. I do go for low-hanging fruit every now and again.
You teach yourself how to remove the scales of these saltwater fish that you have captured, and how to gut them.
This is the greed they warn against in the Bible. Oh no.
You learn, too, how to cook them over a simple fire. Sometimes you skewer these fish of yours on spikes and roast them slowly, innards and all.
Spit roasting! Don't you just love a little spit roasting? Don't you just love some spit roasting in your Yuri game? Spit roasting fish, you know, you're spit roasting a fish. Spit roasting a fish so you can eat it. Spit roasting a fish over a fire. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up before I get permanently banned from YouTube.com.
You're able to sustain yourself well enough during the day, though the faint pangs of hunger you experience never quite go away. Your physical discomfort, however, is secondary when compared to your desire to visit the mermaid. Your days might be dull and drab, but your nights, comparatively, are made of magic.
We're gonna get you? No, no, have mercy, I beg of you, have mercy on my poor rat soul, please. Oh, this pro tag is gonna die. It's okay, I own YouTube, I'll make sure you're safe. Okay.
It is only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and, when she does, you hurry to her side. You have never before had anybody who took so great an interest in you, not until you met the mermaid. That is why she has grown to mean so very much to you. She is the first friend you have ever had. But if you do not temper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may very well be your last.
Hold up, I'm scrolling up in chat and seeing some British slander. We saw some British slang and people were slandering British people. Don't worry, I stood up for the Brits. I stood up for the Brits, don't worry. Why the fuck are colleges emailing me? I'm not fucking interested!
You care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want only to show the mermaid how much that you value her.
This is why Ambrosia is amazing? What do you mean this is why Ambrosia is amazing? This has nothing to do with my Daedalus character.
And you hope, within time, that she will come to value you too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend whom she lost so suddenly. That is your plan, at least. Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Your nightly conversations, when you greet her, come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like thread.
Hold on, we may very well be getting more... I'm live right now, this is gonna have to wait. Anyways.
Your nightly conversations, when you greet her, come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeath your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posits a curious question.
I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to ask. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on this shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so little of my own. So, would you care to come with me, beneath the ocean's waves? There is much that I wish to show you, sights that cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to the communication of experiences such as this.
It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface, so that she might show you her home. You are flattered initially that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal. Alright, I'm gonna go edit my episode 1 of Daedalus here. Go! Go, fare thee well, just a carrot. Have fun in the editing mines. Lord knows I don't. But after this flutter of flattery, there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You're a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs, and you're not made to live under the sea. You frown, and mistrustfully you look at the ocean. It is late at night, as it always is when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. The waves moan as they break against the rocks, which jut out of the shore like a mighty dragon's bones. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea spray arcs through the air. Caught in the moonlight, it shimmers, sharp as knives. Hesitantly, you take a step back. You are a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and so all-consuming. It reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. You are fearful for your own safety, should you consent to dive beneath the undulating meniscus of the water, but...
Do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you, and I will not let you go. You have my word.
Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She is still perched upon her rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Well, she does not have a lap, not really. You are still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate to become the food of so many fish. Of that, you are certain. That is why, despite all of your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You are interested too in what lies beneath the ocean's surface, out of sight.
Oh, I knew that you would agree. Thank you very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Now, would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. The ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me. I promise.
The mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to cut through the moonlight, just like a blade. The moon's celestial rays play against the mermaid's upturned palm so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair, too, is glowing, backlit by Celine's glow, so that she almost looks like an angel. Her beauty is such that, for a few moments, you cannot do anything, neither step towards her, nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted into the sand like some shore-growing tree,
No, I'm looking at the footage, and for the first half of the video I was using the wrong mic, so everything is so much louder than me, and that's when the interesting stuff was, and the important stuff, like being introduced and stuff. That sucks.
You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does occur to you. You ought not to look a gift horse in the mouth, or ignore the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arms shaking like the skinny bow of an ancient tree, and find the mermaid's hand with your own. The mermaid's fingers curl about your own. Her nails, only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think if she willed it, you would be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm.
Now, let us be on our way. There is much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you.
The mermaid turns toward the ocean, as do you. A brief moment passes, one during which you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaids as the wind buffets your hair and your skirt. You inhale deeply. The smell of the salt is heavy in the back of your nostrils, so much so you could choke on it. It is not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic, almost. You have a vague feeling, as you stand on the precipice between your world and that of your aquatic companions, that he might never again be able to smell the salt in the air like this. That is just a silly supposition, though. You are being foolish. The mermaid will return you back to the surface in due course. Will she not? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth, meaning to ask the mermaid about this fact, but you are not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined about yours. She dives forward, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. The water rushes forwards to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water would be this cold. No, it is not just cold. It is freezing. It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however. You cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it is your own. Your hair is unspooling behind you like thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro, as though being soothed in a mother's arms. It's a curious feeling, but it is not wholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here, beneath the ocean's depths, you might find it relaxing. It is dark under the surface of the water, yes, but you have not ventured so very far, not yet at least, that the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depths. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales all glisten as they arc through the waves like rainbows. They do not look like life forms. They appear instead, to your fairy-tale-addled mind, to be ancient relics brought to life through some strange arcane sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word is not significant enough. They are beautiful. You did not know, as you stood upon the shore, how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know either how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. You have never seen fish like these before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories, of dissecting a fish once, in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. but that feels like a very long time ago now. You would far rather think on your present than dwell upon the past. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. While once you were close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. You have descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety, too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh, as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering, despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stopping up your nostrils. There is so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underwater, but you are not so very fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You have been under the water for too long, and it is too cold, and it is so dark now, in any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It is time to return to the surface now, but how are you to communicate this to the mermaid?
The fuck is this? It is a visual novel.
You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She is staring instead, fixedly, at something beyond your comprehension, something far away, perhaps in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal to her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. Her grip does not slacken, as you had hoped, from about your wrist. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her, at long last, to turn. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers,
Yes, dear one. What is it?
If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish, and you cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught save filling your pretty little mouth with water. The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions, but your comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says,
I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?
So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head emphatically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent. But
yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard, of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. I am incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner.
Now, what was that? What could she mean?
I mean,
the mermaid answers. Can she read minds?
That this was a calculated act upon my part. Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough. Then you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take very good care of it. I promise. In death, you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted?
You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is exactly that you want, but you think she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. You would like to try and correct her, you do not want to die, but of course you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. Well, at least it saves me the effort of transcribing your dying pleas. I doubt they would be particularly interesting.
If you want to know why I am doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you.
Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting she nursed within her cold fish's heart the desire to bring about your watery murder. You might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean's surface with her.
I am only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much alike. You do not act very alike either. But you are both humans who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short, and you are susceptible to so very many diseases, is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own, I am far sturdier. I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I were as fragile as you were, I would not be able to exist in this world. I would be far too afraid. I would see my own death lurking behind every corner.
Just as you can see your own death looming before you. It is not so very far away now. You can feel it coming closer and closer, enclosing its cold, icy fingers around your throat.
You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are.
She respects your tenacity so very much she wishes to extinguish it? That does not make very much sense.
Perhaps my words are confusing you, but it makes perfect sense, to me at least. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went, or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days, and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. I could not help but wonder how it came about. But there were so many possibilities I could not imagine all of them. This thought terrified me. It still does. That is why I am going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There we can be together forever. Nothing will be able to tear us apart then. I will brush your hair, and I will dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely. Much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might be able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by disease. You will be quite safe, I promise.
Quite safe, yes, and quite dead too, surely.
Well, yes. That is the only unfortunate aspect of my plan.
She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune. The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. But perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded, like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this.
It is a necessary sacrifice, though, if we are to be happy. I am doing this, you know, for both our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please try to understand. I really have been lonely.
You would be more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if her loneliness was not ushering in your inevitable demise. But you are too preoccupied with your dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You've been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. That is a remarkably long time to go without any air. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker still, unpleasant and obscure, and not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated slowly is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Is there no escape for you? The prognosis, I am sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? Fight against your fate. Ah, I like that look on your face. It is a look full of determination. The self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. I can tell that you are not happy with this ending. You did not come all of this way, after all, to drown. That is quite the indecorous demise, regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be only too happy to indulge you. Just try not to get on the bad side. Or, good side of any homicidal naiads this time. The drowning of fair maidens is something of a cliché. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take?
Okay, so it's like one of those time loop games. Okay. So we're definitely getting more streams out of this. But for now, we've been live for, how long has it been? 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm getting a little tired, and I sure would like to stop streaming for today. I have other things I would quite like to get to. So, thank you all who've joined, all who stuck around, and all who were here for but a brief moment. If what you've seen pleases you, please subscribe to my channel. I stream every day, most of the time with visual novels, but I also do other things on occasion. I also do Minecraft videos. I know, so unique. But without further ado, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So fare thee well, my rats and rodents. Goodbye.